Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the all-new Buick Envision with the Avenir package. Before we get in this video though, a huge shout out and thank you to the Provo Buick GMC for giving me some time with this Envision. I'm going to include a link to their inventory in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. If you have any questions or need any help, just ask for Craig. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money, the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. So under the hood, we have a turbocharged 2-liter 4-cylinder that goes through a 9-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 22 around town and then 29 on the highway, with power outputs being 228 horsepower and then 258 pound-feet of torque. Now before we go over the front end, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. And also, it just snowed yesterday, so the cars are not going to be the cleanest in today's video. Just understand. So first off, you guys can see we've got these distinct body lines there in the hood, which I think look really cool. And then popping down below, look at the daytime running light there with the headlights. You can see the chrome trim that's wrapped around one of the parking sensors. That is so interesting. And then look at the grille with the chrome trim. We've got the Buick logo there with a camera at the bottom of the logo. And putting it all together, I think this is actually a really handsome crossover. Coming around the side here, our tire wheel setup is 245, 45/20 in the front and over in the rear as well. And then you guys can see the spoke design here. Notice we got the Buick shield there in the center as well. We've got these body painted fender flares here. We have our Avenir badge on the side, and then notice the chrome trim there. And then there's also more chrome trim on the door handles and then around the windows. And putting it all together, I think that it's pretty good looking from the side, and the chrome trim definitely pops out. Now taking a look at the key fob, we've got our unlock function, our lock function, remote start, and then the opening here for the hatch, as well as the Buick shield there on the back. But we'll press that a couple times and bada bing, bada boom. Oh, like I said, it snowed yesterday. Now popping inside, first off, you guys can see we've got plenty of storage space and we've got a cargo cover just up above. And then if I lift this up, we've got the spare tire underneath. And oh, also we've got a little charging port right there. When you're all done with the rear, just press this button right here and it'll close everything up. Now with the Avenir package, we actually get these special taillights. Normally the bezel and everything is red, but with this it's silver, so it kind of matches the theme with the chrome. And then you guys can see the rest of the logos here on the back. And we do have parking sensors there at the bottom. And then actually, those aren't exhaust tips. That's just fake. That's funny. But putting it all together, I do think that it's a really cool looking crossover, and the distinctive taillights, they definitely pop out quite a bit. Notice keyless entry. Now taking a look at the door panel here in the rear, we've got really nice wood trim, and look at like the design there. And then you guys can see with all of the stitching throughout, and of course, little window control. And man, look at these seats. So this is one of the big things with the Avenir package, is getting the seats here with that cool stitching design. Legroom here in the back is solid. We also have a little storage pocket, and then we've got heated seats for the back as well as some vents, and then you guys can see our USB outlet action. And then a headroom back here is also good. And would you look at this, we've got a cup holder armrest. Now taking a look at the front door panel here, you guys can see again with the wood trim, and look at the handle itself, and then all of the stitching that goes across. We've got all of our window controls here, also memory seat functionality, but notice front two windows are automatic. And then you got your mirror adjustments, and then that is for the hatch down below, speaker for the Bose sound system, and then blind spot monitoring with the mirrors. Look at that Avenir there on the headrest, and then you've got that same cool quilted design there with these seats, and then look at the bottom portion as well. And then we have our power adjustments here on the side. Light controls here on the side, and then you got the adjustments there for the heads-up display, and then the steering wheel itself is manually adjustable. Now taking a look at the steering wheel, you guys can see really nice padding all around, and then you've got the contrasted stitching on the center portion. Radio controls here on the back. We've got our voice command controls and then controls for the center stack. This also does come with adaptive cruise control as well as your little heat steering wheel button on the steering wheel. And then notice there are paddle shifters there for that 9-speed automatic. And then we got a normal turn signal stock and then a windshield wiper stock. Now here is our gauge cluster. It's kind of like half digital, half analog. And then notice with that screen in the center, we can scroll through a bunch of different menus for different systems within the vehicle, like your music navigation and all of that. And then we also have some drive modes we can go through as well. So notice we have our touring, we have our all-wheel drive mode, and then we have our sport, and then our off-road mode. And if you guys are wondering, the sport and off-road mode have it in all-wheel drive. Only Touring mode has it in two-wheel drive. Now this has GM's 360 camera system, which if you guys have been following my channel for a little bit, then you know that I'm a huge fan of this camera system. Resolution's great, you've got tons of different camera views, and although the Envision isn't a massive crossover, it's still nice to have. Sorry about the glare with this shot, just winter sun, you got to deal with it. Anyways, response time with the screen is great. This is just GM's kind of like basic infotainment system, but that's not a bad thing. You've got Apple CarPlay, you got Android Auto, and the buttons make sense, right? And I like we have a physical volume button. That's something that I always definitely appreciate. And I think it's very nicely integrated here into the whole dash setup. Look at that, there's a little bit of stitching there on the dash, and then it's kind of like padded all throughout. Always got to have the hazard light button somewhere, and it's right next to the vents, of course. And then look at like the stitching here, and then this is our climate control section, dual zone climate system, and I like the little like switch here for the heated and cooled seats, how it's like a switch just like the climate control. I think that's definitely an interesting way to do it. I've got this piano black panel. Opening that up, that shows us our charging area with like the wireless phone charging pad and all that. If you're done with it though, you can just press that and it'll slide back. This is for auto stop start, your hill descent control, lane departure, stability control, your parking sensor setup. This does have parking assist, so that's what this whole thing is for. So you guys can see if I press that, it'll basically do that to search for a parking space. Anyways, we've got our gear selector here, so you guys can see with park, reverse, neutral, drive, it's a bunch of different buttons. Basically, that's your manual mode. A couple cup holders right next to that, and then your drive mode select, and then that's your parking brake. Now with the center console, we basically just have this button on the front that we can press, and it'll open up on either side. And there is really nice padding and stitching on the top of it. I almost forgot about the glove box, and also look at the trim around the vent there. And I think that shot was pretty much all blurry, so let's just move on. This also does come with GM's camera mirror system, which I'm a huge fan of. And then we do have a full panoramic center view. The controls are just right here at the top portion. Hopefully you can see that. Now here's our window sticker for this Envision Avenir. Anyways, base MSRP $47,460. There's not really a lot of options you can add because the Avenir is kind of just fully loaded as standard. Total MSRP on this one is $48,880. I guess that this one has a heated and ventilated seat credit. So it has the switches, but the switches don't do... Ooh, I tripped over some ice, but the switches don't do anything. Let's see how it drives. And mean... Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's your visibility over the hood, and hopefully you can now see the heads-up display. Both the mirrors do blind spot monitoring, and throughout the rest of the rear. And, well, tally-ho, as they say. So right now we're just in the two-wheel drive setting here, and going through the crunchy snow down the driveway. This is gonna be a blast. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Well, don't worry, two-wheel drive can go through the snow. Look at that. So this turbocharged engine, kind of peaky. So it's got decent low end torque, but you definitely have to get into it a little bit more, but it's quick. It's definitely quick, that's for sure. Really smooth ride quality, seat comfort's good. Now I would be having the heated seat function on right now with it being 21 degrees outside, but this one's got the credit, so yeah, no heated seats for us today. But I do love, like I mentioned in the walk around, but I do love how these seats look, and you know, like I said, they are comfortable. So they not only look good, but they feel good as well. And let's get up and move here a little bit. Interesting. Yeah, pretty good there. I want to actually pop it into the all-wheel drive setting to see how that feels. Oh yeah, you can feel a substantial difference from all-wheel drive to the two-wheel drive touring mode. Now if you're wondering why they do that, that gives you the ability to get better fuel economy in two-wheel drive. And then if you're in snowy conditions, well, unlike this, the roads are obviously clear right now, then you pop into all-wheel drive and that will allow you to conquer the winter, right? But let's actually pop it now into sport mode, which will also be in all-wheel drive, as you can see, which makes sense, right? Because you're going to want the most amount of grip while in sport mode, so you can corner better and, you know, be able to power out of or off the line rather. I also feel like visibility is pretty good in here. This wood trim looks really cool with the effect, and now I'm kind of like understanding why they did that. It actually works really well. So that's another big plus. But let's get our full-blown acceleration here. Woo! That transmission's very responsive. It's very quick with the shifts. So summing things up here with the Envision, I think this is a good little crossover. Again, considering the price point, like it's got pretty good storage in it, and on top of that, you know, with this Avenir package, I think that really makes sense. And I think that you're getting, you know, kind of more of like a luxury car experience in terms of the interior, you know, feel and look, and then also in terms of the exterior styling, but you're not paying, you know, a luxury car price. Again, this is less than $50,000. Woo! Yeah, this thing's pretty good. So yeah, overall, I like it a lot. Let me know what you guys think about this new Envision, and let me know what you think about the Avenir package. I also just I missed the other driveway. I'll make it, I promise.